Here we go then. First race of the day is going to be the Pit Bike Stock 160s, race 1B. So this is your B grid within that class. Mike Smallbones is going to lead them away with Dougie Craven alongside. Andrew Jones and Gav Tappenden will be on row 2. Barry Prue and David de Groot will be on row 3. And then it will be Alex Thurston and Paul Ward on row 4. Rounding out the top 10 on row 5 will be William Hodgson and Tom White. 11th on the grid will be Ben Salter, and he's going to have Matt Cox alongside him on row 6. Simon Bastow will be starting 13th with Mike Rose alongside. Then it will be Sam Ho starting 15th with Nathan Smith alongside him on row 8. Stephen Gallimore will start 17th with Mark Hancock 18th. 19th on the grid will be Ashley Harris with Mick Lord to round out the top 20, and then rounding out the 22 bike grid will be Charlie Nesbitt starting 21st and Ben Squire starting 22nd. Those last three riders not managing to set a time, but as far as we're aware, they are taking part in this race, and they're all ready to go on the grid. Jacob has joined me in the box, having hot-footed it over from the paddock.
I'm back. Look how sweaty I am.
Mate, I do feel quite sorry for you.
In that black jacket, I was roasting.
Yeah.
But my T-shirt's very offensive and not kind on the eye. So, for the best, I wore the jacket.
I think that's best, mate. Here we are then. We're ready to go with our first race of the day. Mike Smallbones to lead. Green flags in the air. When it drops, we'll be racing. And we're away at Three Sisters. Mike Smallbones leads them into turn 1, which is Paddock Bend. And then into and challenge already here from, I think that's Gav Tappenden, who's had a really good start and is challenging for the lead. Difficult to spot and confirm that, but I think it might be Tappenden who leads them into the S's, and that looks like David de Groot as well in his distinctive orange, who's got through to second place. So good start to the race for those two riders. They'll go along the Rogerson straight and then into my personal favourite name of a corner on the track. This is Luna Bend that propels them onto the Conrod straight. Fastest part of the lap here.
Down past our commentary box they come for the first time.
They'll come up the Pentas climb. Fantastic fast part of the lap here, up the hill to Coward Summit, which today is not going to be an apt title at all, because you've got to be quite bold to ride these, I'll tell you. Down they come to the final corner.
Great shot that is coming down the hill, isn't it?
Yeah, loving it.
We've got a faller towards the back.
Oh, yeah, good spot there. So, across the line, it is Gav Tappenden, David de Groot, Mike Smallbones. Looks like it might be Andrew Jones, our faller. Jacob, he's falling well down the timings, but it's Gav Tappenden, David de Groot, Mike Smallbones, our pole sitter, is in third. Barry Prue fourth, fifth is Paul Ward. Then it's Dougie Craven, Matt Cox, Stephen Gallimore, William Hodgson and Tom White to round out the top 10.
Yeah, I believe it was Andrew Jones who fell off there. He was running quite high up the order in the top 5 or so, but unable to make that last corner stick. Yeah.
Now, we should stress, if you see a rider go down, doesn't mean they can't continue. If they and the bike are okay, they'll get back on it. But obviously the first concern in those instances is for the rider, and secondly for whether the bike works. Side by side, you'll see that grid. You just saw them going over some grid hatchings. That's the dummy grid. That's not the one we're using today, so that's not them going onto a new lap as they work their way up the hill. Didn't catch who that was battling there as they go over the hill.
Shout out there for Andrew Jones, which I'm not sure if it's coming up on your screen, as we may be having a few technical difficulties here at Three Sisters.
Someone who's not having technical difficulties, though, is definitely Gav Tappenden. Just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:04.370. One of the longer laps that we come to on the calendar here. So expect some of these classes to be above the 1 minute mark. David de Groot really the only rider keeping on terms with Gav Tappenden at the moment. The gap was 1.76 seconds as they crossed the line. Mike Smallbones a further 3.5 seconds down the road with, as they go past our commentary box window, Jacob, it looks like every man and his dog for company battling behind him.
Yes, indeed. Strong competition for places out there. Our leader comes down towards the start-finish line now, with David de Groot still in close contention with him. Very much enjoyed my chat with David earlier. He seemed quietly confident of a good result here, and second would indeed be that.
Yep, we definitely get his day off to a good start. He's been competitive, has David de Groot, all year, but hasn't had the win yet, not at least in this class.
Now, I think we're going to pick up the battle for third here, which is hotly contested between Mike Smallbones, Barry Prue, Dougie Craven and Paul Ward. They are coming around this sweeping right-hander now.
Yep, you can see Barry Prue all over the back of Smallbones as they come onto the straight as well. Smallbones didn't seem to take quite the optimum line there, although look at that. That's Dougie Craven, isn't it? Taking them both on as they swoop up through Pentith Climb. That's fantastic stuff there. Really good battle this over third place. They'll come over Coward Summit and into the final corner, but we'll look for it confirmed on timing. I think that's Dougie Craven up into the podium positions there.
He got an excellent drive off that last corner, and it is indeed Dougie Craven up into third place, Barry Prue and Mike Smallbones behind.
Yep, fantastic stuff. Meanwhile, at the head of this field, Gav Tappenden is setting blistering pace. 1 minute 3.776 is the only person to dip below the 1 minute 4 mark, and he's now dropping David de Groot. He's 2.5 seconds to the good up the road. Now, as if Mike Smallbones didn't have enough to deal with on the previous lap, he now has Paul Ward and Stephen Gallimore in the battle over fifth. We're also, though, keeping an eye on two just ahead of him, because it's not over, it seems, between Dougie Craven and Barry Prue. And indeed, Smallbones has been taken by Paul Ward there. So again, and I think has he also been taken? Yes, he has, by Stephen Gallimore. So clearly not Smallbones' strongest part of the lap there on the Conrod Straight, as he's lost another 2 places on this lap.
Yeah, it's an interesting race so far, Howard. Tappenden looks to be comfortable out in front, but David de Groot's just got enough pace to keep him honest, I think. 4 seconds currently the gap. 8 back to third place, which is Dougie Craven.
Yeah, and the thing that we didn't note there in that battle in fifth place is not only did Ward and Gallimore get past Smallbones, but Gallimore also got past Ward. So it is actually Stephen Gallimore now in fifth place.
Past our commentary box goes Gav Tappenden, shortly followed after by David de Groot. We'll be seeing Dougie Craven coming around now. He's built up a bit of a gap to fourth place man Barry Prue. Challenging behind him though, the 167 is it of Steve Gallimore and 14 of Paul Ward. They're still close by. Yeah,
and we're just looking as well here at the battle in the lower part of the top 10. The likes of William Hodgson, Matt Cox, Alex Thurston, Ben Squires in this battle as well. That's over about 8th place there, and I think there's been a fair amount of change on this lap. Alex Thurston and Ben Squire getting past Matt Cox on that tour of the circuit. This is the 777 of Barry Prue in third, and he still has Stephen Gallimore and Paul Ward for closer company than he'd like, as we have 4 laps left to run of this one. They'll come on to the Rogerson's Straight. Actually, no, they're coming off the Rogerson's Straight, excuse me. This is Luna Bend again. So the riders will look to get good drive off of this corner as it propels them all the way down the Conrod Straight and through this corner. Pentith Climb is very much a flat corner on these bikes. This is all in the top 10 that we're showing you here. Fantastic battling going on all the time here. Meanwhile, at the front, Gav Tappenden doing exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, it's a stellar drive from Gav. Still setting fast laps in the 1 minute 3s. Other riders just not able to match him at the minute. They're all down the 1 minute 5s, other than David de Groot, who's in the 1 minute 4s.
Absolutely.
gap close to 10 seconds now. Back to David Groot with 3 laps remaining. That you'd think that race is sewn up. A quick look over his shoulder.
Yeah.
For Gav. Not sure he'd be able to see David from that far in front.
I was going to say it's going to be. It's quite a gap that he has to the advantage, as you say, Jacob. He's ridden superbly in this one. Just seems to have everything under control, continuing to set consistent times under the 1:04 mark.
Challenge coming up the back straight. Paul Ward making a move on Barry Prue, not shown on the stream. We're following Gav up top. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that as they go over the line.
Yeah, absolutely. David de Groot's also having a quiet one, we should say. He's sort of in a pace class between Tappenden and the rest of the field. He's now almost 4 seconds up the road from Dougie Craven in third, who in turn is 6 seconds up the road from the incredible battle between Gallimore, Ward, Thurston, Prue, Smallbones. In fact, everybody from fourth downwards is separated by mere tenths as we come into the final 2 laps of this one.
Yes, Paul Ward did in fact get a run on Barry Prue up the hill. He moves up into 5th place.
Yep, absolutely. Fantastic stuff from those riders. There's de Groot on your screens. That's your 2nd place rider. Working his way through the fastest part of the lap. There he goes up Pentith Climb. Then there's 3rd place. That's Dougie Craven. And then a further 6 seconds back from him, this is your battle over 4th place with Gallimore, Ward, Thurston, Prue, Smallbones, Squire, Hodgson, Cox, Ho and Salt. They're all in there. They're all in there. Actually, Sam Ho is slightly further down the road, but this is the battle to keep an eye on as the leader is on the last lap. We do need to keep an eye on that. So as they cross the line this time, it's Stephen Gallimore 4th, Paul Ward in 5th, Alex Thurston, Ben Squire managed to get past Barry Prue on that lap. Mike Smallbones and William Hodgson and Matt Cox all in this group. This is fantastic stuff in the first race of the day. The leader is currently coming up the hill.
I think he's gone past us, yeah.
We're going to pick him up here, now. I think.
Hopefully. There's a shot of the line.
There is a shot of the line.
He's not that far ahead.
Don't think that's him. That might be, though. That's Gav Tappenden, and he takes the win in the B race for the Pit Bike Stock 160s, race 1 of round 4 for 2018. Fantastic ride from Tappenden. David de Groot will come across the line to take 2nd. There he is in his orange livery. Good ride from him. Dougie Craven, I tell you what, he'd been catching up to the back of de Groot, hadn't he? The gap was only 1.5 seconds at the line. And then here comes the battle pack. And it's Thurston. Alex Thurston's got to the head of this pack. So it's Thurston who finishes 4th, Ben Squire 5th, Stephen Gallimore, who started the lap in 4th, finishes 6th. 7th is Barry Prue, 8th Matt Cox, Mike Smallbones is in 9th. Originally our pole sitter, of course, for that one. William Hodgson rounds out the top 10. Fantastic pack there. Race-long battling between those bikes. Then it's Sam Ho 11th, 12th Ben Salter, Mike Rose is in 13th, 14th is Tom White, 15th we expect to come across the line is Mark Hancock, Nathan Smith 16th, 17th Ashley Harris, Simon Bastow is 18th, Paul Ward 19th, and we saw Andrew Jones having that incident at the end of the first lap. He, I don't think, continued after that. He's been classified in 20th. So there we are then. That was your first race of the day.
Great start. 2-hour day's racing here at Three Sisters in Wigan. Plenty more action of the like to come.
Absolutely. Do keep your comments coming in below the stream and keep it clean, if you please, on this British Mini Bikes stream, coming to you courtesy of Alpha Live. Very happy to have you along for this afternoon's action at Three Sisters. What more could we ask for than the wall-to-wall sunshine that we're getting right now? Actually, thinking about it, we're not going to be asking for that for much longer because our comms box is a metal box. Yes. But we'll gloss over that.
Well, it's all right. We got windows.
We have got windows. That's a good point, actually. Keep them open between the sessions. But
slide.
As we get ready for the next race.
Yes.
So here we are then. The second B race of the day in the pit bike Stock 160s, which begins, in the grander scheme of things, our second rotation of races. Mike Smallbones will lead them away with Dougie Craven alongside him. Andrew Jones starts this one from third with Gav Tappenden in fourth place. Barry Prue starts this one in fifth with David de Groot in sixth. Alex Thurston will begin this one from seventh on the grid with Paul Ward alongside him in eighth. Ninth place will be William Hodgson with Tom White rounding out the top 10. Ben Salter starts this one from 11th with Matt Cox in 12th. Simon Bastow will start 13th with Mike Rose in 14th. On row 8 of the grid in 15th place we find Sam Ho with Nathan Smith alongside in 16th. 17th is Stephen Gallimore with Mark Hancock in 18th. 19th will be Ashley Harris with Mick Lord rounding out the top 20. 21st is Charlie Nesbitt. I have Charlie Nesbitt shown in two positions on the grid, so I'm going to ignore that and say it's Ben Squire at the back of this one. Yes, it is. That graphic's correct. It's my page on page in front of me on my laptop that's wrong. So Ben Squire will round out this one. Green flags are in the air. We're good for the go. And we're away in the pit bike Stock 160s. And that looked like a really good start from David de Groot there. David de Groot is at the head of this one as they work their way through turn 2 for the first time. You can see de Groot with his distinctive orange livery. Jacob, you spoke to him earlier today.
That I did. Looks to be in a good position here. Obviously earlier he followed home, remind me, 3 letters, got a V. Is it a V? Who did he follow home in the first one of these races? Whoever it is, he's not out in this one. So yes, David de Groot second in this race. Earlier on, looks to be favourite to win it.
Are you thinking of Gaz?
Gaz?
Are you thinking of Gaz Tappenden?
It's not Gaz. It is Tappenden, though.
It is Tappenden. There we go. I'm just trying to learn all the Gav Tappenden. Yeah.
It is Gav.
Not Gaz. Gav.
Is he
there
out?
we go. Anyway, whilst we yes, no, it's a good question actually because I thought de Groot had a very good start there. I'm not sure if Tappenden's in this one. Anyway, David de Groot crosses the line to finish the first lap. Dougie Craven is definitely in this one and comes across second. Mike Smallbones, Barry Prue, Alex Thurston, Andrew Jones, Stephen Gallimore, Paul Ward, Sam Ho and Tom White round out your top 10 at the end of the first lap. I agree with you. I don't think Gav Tappenden is out there.
Yeah, so our winner of race number 1 in this SM Stock 160B, Gav Tappenden, isn't on the grid. However, David de Groot, second place, is, and support coming in from Rachel Donaldson. Come on, David, from your 2 little people. I'd assume those are children rather than midgets.
I think that's a fair assumption. So up the hill they come to finish off the second lap. It does look like we have had reduced race lengths here to make sure we fit in the full schedule of racing. Here you can see Mike Smallbones being chased by Barry Prue. And, no, sorry, it's Alex Thurston now being chased by Barry Prue and Mike Smallbones. This is the battle over third place. And that looked to me as well like it might have been Stephen Gallimore getting past Andrew Jones as well. David de Groot at the front, meanwhile, doing everything he needs to do. 2.6 seconds to the good of Dougie Craven. So, oh, and there's a move there. Up the inside into the Lunar Complex, and that was Stephen Gallimore getting back at Andrew Jones, I think, was that one.
We have seen that move a couple of times today, but obviously the last time we saw it, there was a bit of drama.
Yep. Yeah, it is indeed Gallimore and Andrew Jones battling it out there. That's for 6th place. So good stuff for those two as they head down the hill once more. David de Groot starts a new lap. Dougie Craven in second. Still Thurston third. Barry Prue fourth. But Gallimore and Mike Smallbones on the move there. Andrew Jones has dropped back down.
Fastest lap from Alex Thurston in 3rd place. He's over half a second quicker than anyone else on track. Interesting to see where he goes with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Jones trying to attack back at Smallbones through the S's. He's got to be
making a move. Sorry, Howard, for 2nd place, going down into the Lunar Complex, and they're catching David de Groot as well.
Yep, good spot. Good spot. Top 3 closing up here, definitely.
And yes, that is Alex Thurston. He's taken Dougie Craven, and he will now be chasing down David de Groot. I was just about to say David de Groot hasn't got as much of a pace advantage as he and Tappenden had in the first race, and he could be about to pay the price for that as they come round on the start-finish straight.
Yep, that was Barry Prue just going through shots. Stephen Gallimore, Mike Smallbones.
And yes, look at that. Over a second and a half taken out of David de Groot's lead. Alex Thurston is now 1.3 seconds behind him. Expect to see de Groot, Thurston, and even Craven challenging for the lead in the near future.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, top 3 continue to close up here.
Coming down into the Lunar Complex, there's not a lot between them.
Here we are. You can see it now on screen. There's your leader, David de Groot. There is Alex Thurston. And then Dougie Craven is right behind them in 3rd as well. Barry Prue running quietly in 4th at the moment. And then the battle for 5th place continues to go on between Stephen Gallimore, Andrew Jones, Paul Ward and Mike Smallbones, who's still falling down the order. I feel a bit sorry for Smallbones. He's been riding well, but he's just been dropping back every time we've checked in with him, it seems, today. But he has qualified very well, we'll say. And for the lead there, Thurston goes through.
I was just about to say, look how close they are.
I was going to say. Yeah, absolutely, good point.
Rapid lap, 1 minute 4.1. He's taken the whole 1.3 second gap off David de Groot and slid up the inside on turn 1.
Yep, no messing about. Arrived on the scene, and before we could even comment on it, was up the inside, and job done. So, Alex Thurston to the front. Can de Groot stay in touch with him is the question. Be interesting to see if he can, because Thurston the last few laps has looked absolutely on pace, but he hasn't dropped de Groot too much on this one. In fact, de Groot, if anything, Jacob, looks to be coming back to him here.
Yes, perhaps the opportunity to catch Tappenden in that first race was what was driving him on, and now that he's got a bit of competition up there, it might give him a bit of an edge. Yeah,
could be that he absolutely might be able to pace himself a bit better with somebody just in front of him, and then he can pounce at the end. Still Dougie Craven running well there in 3rd.
Yes, de Groot does his fastest lap of the race in following Thurston, so there's obviously some benefit to have the other rider there with him.
Barry Prue has now been caught by Stephen Gallimore, so we've got to keep an eye on that one. The battle over 4th place. That's it, and there it is changing. In fact, Gallimore up the inside of Barry Prue through turn 2. So Gallimore's been going well this race and has just got himself another spot up into 4th place. There he is on the 167. Behind them still, well, behind them now it's Ben Squire, according to timing. If so, that means he's had a really good race, if that's the case, because if the grid that we had at the start's correct, because he was at the back on the grid I had. So brilliant stuff from Ben Squire, if that's the case. Last lap board shown to the leaders then. Can de Groot challenge at all here on this last lap? He's still in touching distance. Thurston has a lead by 7/10 of a second as they work their way through turn 2. Here they are. Oh, and there's traffic. There's traffic, and is that going to come into play?
De Groot's certainly closer now. He's got the opportunity there. He's managed to stick with the faster rider after being overtaken by him.
Yep.
Can he go one better and take him back?
Indeed. Thurston hugging the curb in the Lunar Complex. Can de Groot get good drive off the corner and challenge Thurston? He's got underneath him. Side by side.
De Groot's got the inside line on this right-hand kink and takes the lead back.
What a place to make the move. Fantastic stuff from de Groot. Will Thurston have an answer for him over the hill? They're going to emerge into shot any moment now. It's De Groot. David De Groot. What a final lap that was. And it's a drag to the line, but I think it's going to be David's. David De Groot wins after a superb charge on the closing lap of the race. Well, timing's showing Thurston. Timing is showing Thurston to us.
I'm not quite sure, because
that was definitely to De Groot to me.
I'd say not quite sure how it's made such a small error, if you will.
Yeah.
For one of them to have not shown up at all would kind of be understandable in terms of transponder issues, but
I'm not sure about that. We're going to have to wait to confirm that one, I think, folks. Either way, what a final lap there. What a place to try the move. Pentith's climb. De Groot gets alongside. Dougie Craven finishes third. Stephen Gallimore fourth. Ben Squire fifth. Sixth for Barry Prue. Andrew Jones seventh. Eighth for Paul Ward. Sam Hone ninth. Mike Smallbones 10th. Matt Cox 11th. Ben Salter finished 12th. 13th for Simon Bastow. William Hodgson in 14th. 15th for Mike Rose. Tom White in 16th. 17th for Nathan Smith. Mark Hancock finished in 18th, and 19th was Ashley Harris. But Jacob,
I'm calling
it's not
that
the heat. It's not the heat. That definitely De Groot across the line we saw then.
It was a fantastic final lap.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
As we said, he kept with the faster rider. In fact, Alex Thurston's fastest lap was almost exactly a second faster than David De Groot. But once conceding the lead, he managed to stick with him and eventually come back past him. Here's the replay of how he managed to retake the lead.
Yep, so out of Luna Bend, De Groot gets good drive off the corner. He manages to tuck under, coming onto the Conrod Straight. Really good respect from both riders, giving each other room. No contact there. And then just absolutely threw it up the inside. This is brilliant stuff. This, for me, is move of the day. Just to have the confidence through a corner that fast.
And yes, then took it to the line.
Right, well, we'll wait and see what the official results show on that one. But now it's time for the A race in Pit Bike Stock 160.